All right, your study guide for your slope-intercept form quiz. Let's get to it. The directions here say, identify the slope and the y-intercept from the following equations. Number 1, your equation is y equals 8x minus 11. Please recall, our form that we always use is y equals mx plus b. So very simply, all you have to do is recognize that that 8 is hanging out with the m, and the negative 11 is going to be your b. You're going to have to not just look at the number, but you need to look at the number and the sign in front of it. So m is 8 and b is negative 11. Well, number 2 has a little bit of a challenge. What is that challenge? You're missing something. What you are missing is that all you have is y equals negative 33. I do not see an x with it, and since I do not see an x with it, that means our slope is going to be 0. And where the line crosses the y-intercept is negative 33. So again, if you do not see an x, that means your slope is 0, meaning that you have a horizontal line. Number 3, I would like for you to try this one somewhat on your own. First off, what is your y-intercept? Your y-intercept should be negative 1. What is your slope? Your slope is negative 5/4. Please do not write down x. X is not part of your slope. Number 4 is also just a little bit tricky because on number 4, you have y equals x. What am I missing? Since I have an x, I have something that is a slope. We'll get to that in just a minute. What I am missing is your y-intercept, so your line would be crossing at 0. Please do not put that your slope is 0. If I have an x with nothing in front of it, that means I have a 1 in front of it. And my slope is 1/1, or if you just want to put 1. For questions number 5, 6, and 7, given the graph, write the equation of the line in slope-intercept form. Let's start with number 5. I want to impress upon you to always, always, always decide if your slope is negative or positive first. If this was a mountain, would you be going up the mountain or down the mountain if you were looking from left to right? You would be going down the mountain, so your slope is going to be negative. Hold on to that thought just for a moment. Let's go back then and figure out our B. Remember, B is where your line crosses the y-intercept. It crosses it right here. This is our origin. We are going up 4, so our y-intercept is 4. Back to our slope. We said our slope was negative. We are going down. How many? And then across. So our slope is negative 3 over 2. Check it out one more time. 1, 2, 3 over 2. 1, 2, 3 over 2. And you're still on the line. So don't forget, at this point you need to write the equation. Put it all together. So our equation is y equals negative 3 halves plus 4. And here on number 6, let's start with our y-intercept, where your line crosses the y-axis. It crosses the y-axis at 0. That's a nice looking 0. And then let's decide, is your slope negative or is your slope positive? If you are reading it from left to right, is it negative or is it positive? It is negative. Again, how far are you going downwards? And how far are you going across? Great. So now we can write our final equation. Y equals negative 3 halves x. And I forgot to put that over on number 5, so make sure you put an x on number 5. But on number 6, your equation equals y equals negative 3 halves x. There is no need to write plus 0 because that is understood. So you do not need to include that in your answer. This is a good question as well. Let's find our y-intercept. This one is nicely marked for you. Your y-intercept is 2. Is your slope negative or positive? Your slope is positive. And take a minute and look. Number 6 and number 7 are opposites. Number 6 is an example of a negative slope going down. Number 7 is an example of a positive slope going up. Okay, so number 7, your slope is positive. You are going up 3 over 1. So your equation would be what? Y equals 3x plus 2. Here's your plus 2. If you went up 3 over 1, you would still be on that line. And recall, if you really feel like you need to put that 1 underneath, you can, but it is understood. Any whole number has 1 as its denominator. From here on out, folks, we are graphing from here on out. Now, I did not have room with putting all of your graphs down to put down your M and your B, but that is really a great idea. Number 8, what is your B? -2. And your slope? 4 over 1, because remember that over 1 business. Is our slope going to go up or down? In other words, is it positive or negative? It's going to go up. So on our graph, let's put a point at our y-intercept. Then you're going to go up 4 over 1. Please don't at this point draw in the box anymore. I'm sorry, the triangle anymore. What I want to see is I want to see that line. So we went up 4 over 1. Up 4 over 1 again. I want you to make a line all the way across. I do not mean to confuse you, but I want you to make sure that you go to the right first. That ensures that you are drawing the correct type of slope, positive or negative. When you're done with that, then you can go back to your y-intercept and do the opposite. Go down 4, 1, 2, 3, over 1. Then you can connect your points all the way across. Put arrows on that bad boy because it continues on forever. Number 9. Let's talk about our M. Let's talk about our B. Our y-intercept is 1, and our B is negative 4/5. If our B is negative 4/5, what does that tell us about our slope? Okay, so now if our y-intercept is 1, on the y-axis, put a point at 1, then you are going down 4 to the right 5. Again, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You went to the right. That ensures the fact that you have a negative slope. To go all the way across, go back to your y-intercept and reverse it. Go up 4, back 5. And all along this line, you have a negative slope. Number 10. Well, what is funky with number 10? Number 10 is funky because it looks as though you have y equals 2x. If that 2 is connected to the x, that means that is your slope. We are missing a y-intercept. So you can assume that your y-intercept is 0. So where your line crosses the y-axis is 0. What type of slope do you have? Is it negative or is it positive? It's positive. 2 over 1. So go up 2 over 1. Up 2 over 1. I hope that you aren't just sitting there with your paper in your hand and just watching the video. You really need to be thinking about the questions, graphing it, getting this negative and positive business down. Okay. Down 2 over 1. Connect it all the way across. Number 11. Write down your M and your B. And then let's decide what is our y-intercept. And what is our slope? Remember, if you have a variable and there is not a number in front of it, it really is 1. So this lets us know that our slope is negative 1 over 1. So let's start drawing. Put a point at your y-intercept. Down 1 to the right 1. We're always going to start to the right. Up 1, back 1. Up 1, back 1. Once you've finished going to the right. And this is an example of your slope being negative again. Last one. We are here. What do you notice when you look at your equation? Y equals negative 3. And that's it. What are we missing? Looks to me like we are missing an x. That means that our slope is 0. If our slope is 0, it could mean one of two things, and this is the confusing part. It means that our slope is horizontal because you are not going up any. But you still have a y-intercept of negative 3. So somehow a line, whoops, that's not negative 3. Somehow a line crosses at negative 3. That's just a point. How would a line cross at negative 3 if the slope is 0? That just means you're not going up or down any. It just means you're going across. Because really, if you have a slope that is 0, it's 0 over 1. Up 0 over 1. Up 0 over 1. Up 0 over 1. Up 0 over 1. Just forever and ever and ever. Okay. Thank you for taking the time with this study guide. I hope that if you need to, you can try it again. I hope that you look it over tonight. Take this seriously. This could hurt your grade or help your grade.